Don't be too quick to judge Nicodemus. We just heard about Nicodemus in the gospel reading. Sure, he came to Jesus in the night, and theologians have had a field day with that. Maybe he was embarrassed to be seen visiting this controversial preacher, Jesus. But what would his colleagues think? What would his fellow scribes and teachers think who had real status, which Jesus obviously didn't? So maybe at first Nicodemus didn't want to be seen by anyone associating with Jesus. That kind of thing can get you branded and judged by the right people. And in the dog-eat-dog world, being labeled as naive or gullible, or worse yet, a radical. Like those fishermen that Jesus hung around trying to stir up the people. Being labeled could ruin your reputation and your chance at success. And that's what it was all about, right? But maybe that's what was bugging Nicodemus in the first place, and which may have been why he took the risk to go see Jesus. Yes, in the dark, but he went, and he was seeking, so his heart was a tiny bit open. And his mind, which turned out to be not much help anyway when talking to Jesus, well, it was where it had always been, on the concrete, measurable facts and figures. That was what was practical and made sense. You know, the real world. But Jesus wasn't talking about any world that he knew of, that Nicodemus could understand. Jesus was confusing. He talked about being born from above. Some translations say born again. About a spirit that comes and goes in ways we don't understand. What was that all about? But something must have happened to Nicodemus in that confusing conversation. Jesus' ideas must have planted a seed that would grow into a faith stronger than was evident at that first meeting with Jesus. Maybe just being in the presence of Jesus was enough to convince Nicodemus. Even though he couldn't grasp this truth that Jesus was talking about intellectually, maybe something happened to his heart and soul that was so powerful that it swept Nicodemus up and made him want to follow Jesus. Not obviously at first. He was still